Hey guys, it's Matt. As the YouTube channel The Critical Drinker is doing movie reviews of The Mindless, and the most recent being, I like The Critical Drinker, just making a point here, most recent being the WB series of Batgirl and how horrible it is, getting 500 and some thousand subs, hundreds of thousands of views. I'm doing movie reviews that actually reveal metaphysical truth, reveal hints as to what the nature of existence and life is all about, what we're doing here, hidden truth embedded in movies that are mostly overlooked and forgotten. And I'll have decent views, but it won't be the hundreds of thousands that the Critical Drinker will get reviewing the WB's Batgirl is one of the worst shows of all time. But that concept of how people are attached and pursue the mindless, it is absolutely related to the truth drops that come out of these movie reviews. And it'll take me a while to get to the main point, guys, but this is profound. I mean, some of the connections here are profound and very, very interesting. This should be treated more like a radio show. Relax, settle into it, kick your feet up. There's, I don't know, just maybe 3% are very impatient. And they just, people eventually they can't take it anymore and they'll give me a comment. Get to the point. Matt, you're rambling again. Get to the point. That's not the purpose is to explore these concepts, not just to put me on 1.75 and, get it all banged out. And how do you make love to your woman? And no, I'm not going to get to the point. I'm to put pieces together. Relax into it. I assure you, these connections are profound. All right. It's just when I watched one of the scenes in A Waking Life, which I don't like at all. Okay, the waking life is incredible truth embedded in a gigantic deception, if you ask me. And all the bloviation in the middle by people who think they're so smart is horrible, absolutely horrible. But it hit me at the end. I went, wow, okay, there's something. And then it related back to the movie Jacob's Ladder that I saw with Tim Robbins and another movie called Existence that I'm going to talk about and then try to put all the pieces together. But no, I'm not going to get to the point. I'm not going to get to the point. It's going to take a while. Exploring the nature of reality and your very existence as to what you're doing in this place, it takes a little while. It ain't a wham bam, thank you, ma'am. So to summarize before I begin, this will be a movie review of A Waking Life, or it's just called Waking Life, the movie Jacob's Ladder with Tim Robbins, 1990, not the remake, the movie Existence with Jude Law and I forget her name. She was the little mall girl in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, who you can never forget some of the scenes she was in. Jennifer Jason Leigh or whatever, making love to Damone or whatever. You can't get that out of your head ever. It's horrible. And then I'm going to do a review. I'm just going to throw in the movie Society. It really doesn't belong in the connections that are clear between Waking Life, Jacob's Ladder, and Existence, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Society doesn't really belong in this conversation, but it's not worth doing one on its own, and I'll just throw it in. I'll try to tie it in the best I can, talk about Society. Maybe we'll get that out of the way. Okay, guys, let's do Society first, and in going forward, the pictures are what I'm showing you here. These are just, thumbnails from Google Images. I'm the only movie reviewer in the world that can't show a clip of the movie. But so you're not going to, this is just for some entertainment, why I talk. They're not that important. Society is the least important movie of the four I'm going to review. It does not tie together this humongous theme that comes out of the other three that is extremely important to understanding what life is all about. I don't mean to keep setting this up, but it is that big. I better deliver, right? So Society, this is more of a screen exercise. It makes a statement of what the society around you is like. So basically, I'll do a minute and a half on the plot. 1989 release in London, 1992 release in the United States. It has an old feel. You're only going to like this movie if you like some of the old John Carpenter movies like In the Mouth of Madness. It has a little bit of a low-budget feel. Reanimator is a weird-ass cult classic, that type of feel. But it's about the kid here, who he's growing up in a wealthy home in Beverly Hills. and not super rich, but not, middle class Beverly Hills, which, I used to live in East LA. That's probably, a net worth of, $20-30 million. That's pauper out there. This guy's, so they're wealthy, but they're not the top of the top. And he's a cool kid. He's a captain of whatever team. And he does a good job. This actor really does for the budget or whatever they had to work with. He's very likable. Without this kid's role, if you put someone else in here, like the person that was in Jupiter Ascending or that actor that played in Fantastic Beasts and played Stephen Hawking, you put him in here, the whole movie collapses. He does a good job holding it together. But basically, the kid's like, something's not right in this whole society. Like even his parents, he's skeptical of them. He's skeptical of like people watching him. Things aren't right in the world. He senses many of the things we sense. And basically, just to make a real long story short, his parents aren't who. It basically everybody around him in Beverly Hills is basically a different species, not even human. And I think the movie's making a statement in that regard. But even his parents aren't really his parents. They have a different face. At the end, there's this weird scene where they all kind of morph into aliens. I'll show you parts of that scene up here. That was his sister. His sister isn't who she says she is. And there's this weird scene at the end when his preacher, oh gosh, see that? I don't know if I can even show that. Look at this. Yeah, I mean, everybody at the end, there's this giant scene that's right out of Event Horizon where his mother and father, his preacher, is the guy down the street. Nobody is as they seem. And he's the only one who's not involved in all this really strange stuff. And look, the message to me, and I'm sure to you, is very clear that society is not what it seems. There's a very dark element standing in the shadows. You don't know who's going to be part of this dark element. It could be your fire chief who you've known your whole life, and he might have this completely other side. It's similar to in Da Vinci Code, where, what was her name? Sophie stumbled upon her grandfather, who she thought just was a regular nice old grandfather, but he's at the top of that secret society, and there's like an Eyes Wide Shut, weird stuff, weird masks, pentagrams. She stumbles upon him doing a weird ritual in a society. Well, this kid stumbles upon that, but nobody around him is kind of as they seem, with a few exceptions. He has a cheerleader girlfriend who isn't involved in this. And the purpose of the movie is just to get the audience to thinking that, when I have a after school meeting with the guidance counselor on behalf of my child, what is the guidance counselor really into? And they make fun of it. It's aliens. It's a different species. It's presented as a cheap horror movie. But, the message is clear. I mean, there is a dark underbelly, or as what we've talked about, a different type of incarnation where the minions are potentially or probably a different sort of incarnation than you are, more trapped to this place, not having the same spiritual ties that you do. And that is a theme that comes out of this movie. But doesn't tell you really that much about yourself. It tells you about a hidden nature of society that's likely all around you. Well, we would see it that way. Any popcorn cruncher at the first level would just see it as a cheesy horror movie along the lines of In the Mouth of Madness or Reanimator, and would never see past the first level. That's society. Let me try to do Existenz, EXISTEN with a capital Z at the end, with Jude Law, and is it her name Jennifer Jason Leigh? Yes. Let me do this in just under 4 minutes or so, 5 at the most. It's the theme here that repeats, the important theme of layers of reality, dream within a dream. Of course, that repeats in a lot of other movies, like Inception, that I'm not going to talk about. So just for the purpose of this, it's just for the purpose of another movie carrying this theme. I'll talk mostly about that theme related to Waking Life and Jacob's Ladder. But in this movie, which society, let me just go back to society, is a lot of fun for a lot of people, but 80% of you won't be interested in it. It's dated looking. You have to like that type of movie that I talked about. This movie, same thing. 80%, won't really care for it. It has some strange scenes. 20% though would really like it. I'm not going to give away the ending. It's all about the ending. So apparently, she's a game designer. The game actually ports into your spine. You go into a reality where you don't know kind of what's real and what's not. They find themselves saying, well, wait a second, is this the real world or is this the game level? They kind of get lost. They don't know where they are. Are we still in the game or not? The game is a biohybrid. Is it saying this is where games are going? Games that will actually go beyond virtual reality to port right into your spine. You won't be able to distinguish reality from a game. And the first level, see, this is the port she uses to play the game. It's alive. It has tissue. It ports into her spine. And the first level watcher of this movie, well, to just see it like, wow, the virtual experience could become so good that we just don't know. But it's a bigger meaning related to the next two movies we'll talk about reality being a dream, illusion, Maya, and kind of being stuck in it, giving too much importance to it, not being able to do the basic things to remove yourself from the dream. The other two movies will show this is what reality is doing to us now. It's being able to come back 50,000 feet and say, this is just all BS down here. Where, my mentor in certain things, who has advised me in certain things like the different types of incarnations, Tony, would say, not Tony, my old friend, but this Tony would say, one of the main things to remember is you have the ability to walk out of this. And that absolutely relates to one of the last scenes in Waking Life. So let me just go on to that. This movie, I'm not going to give away. It's just bizarre scene after bizarre scene after bizarre scene. 20% of people would really love it, but 80% probably wouldn't. And then even if you don't really like it, the ending isn't it ties everything together, and you go, wow, that's what really happened. So it's cool, but you're not missing much if you don't see this movie. Okay, let's just put it at that. This is where it gets interesting. Talk about the movie Jacob's Ladder, Tim Robbins, 1990 release, and then talk about the movie The Waking Life, or I thought it was The Waking Life, just Waking Life, 2001. All right. Now, let me start by reading the most profound quote, or what was said in the movie Jacob's Ladder, that will get just everybody thinking. It's very interesting the way this is presented. I'm not sure many of us have thought about it this way. It's Tim Robbins, chiropractor in Jacob's Ladder, says to him, which is a quote actually from the 14th century Christian mystic Meister Eckhart, says to Tim Robbins, he says, "The only thing that burns in hell is the part of you that won't let go of life. The only thing that burns in hell is the part of you that won't let go of life. Your memories, your attachments. They burn them all away. But they're not punishing you," he said. "They're freeing your soul. So if you're frightened of dying and you're holding on, you'll see devils tearing your life away. But if you've made your peace, then the devils are really angels freeing you from the earth." Okay, this wraps up, or says it a little bit different way, the attachment theme that we've talked about a lot over the years, related to also why this reality, and go back to the movie Society, it creates contracts with everybody. It wants you focusing on its what does a hypnotist swing the pocket watch back and forth? Look over here, make contract with me over here, be distracted by this. And again, it's just about the theme that starts to really pour out of one of the key scenes in Waking Life in this movie is, first off, it's a combination of this, but also it's the dream inside the dream inside the dream, what reality is real, your ability to walk out of it, the ability to step out of it is hindered via attachments. This whole reality is structured to be, in every sense, is structured to be a distraction, basically related to what's being said here. Even the megalith sites, I'm starting to believe, even the big cathedrals. I think this entire reality, from A to Z, I don't care if it's hard and you can drop it on your foot. I think the entire thing is designed to get your attention. So I'll read this one last time. It's really, the chiropractor is, remember Sal's Famous in Do the Right Thing? My favorite. Can't say anything bad about him. I'll get another you-know-what. But Sal's Famous, and he was also played Johnny Camilleri in Moonstruck, that actor. No matter what age he plays as an actor, he always looks 58 years old, even if he's only 30-something in the film. Here comes Johnny Camilleri. It's that guy. He gives advice to Tim Robbins. The only thing that burns in hell is the part of you that won't let go of life, your memories, your attachments. I don't like the fact that it says memories, but the hell burns them all away. So, but it's not a punishment. He says it's freeing you, cleansing you. If you don't want to go through that hell, burn them away, get rid of them now. So if you're frightened of dying, what are people doing now? My father, 2 days ago, he actually is action Jacksonated at this point. But, you have to call this number in Florida from 9 o'clock every Tuesday. Dial. Just keep dialing. Once it's so bad. Games trying to get out. And I couldn't get through, but then this guy down the street knows a clinic somewhere. They have a few extra actions, and he drives across town to get it. He didn't do anything. But that's attachment, man. That's doing... You want to talk about making contracts? That's doing everything to hold on to this world. And people will even go beyond that. I don't think Dad would club a little old lady down to get the last dose, but some people will go in terms of what they've done in life to step on others. And this is all attachments. And that's what hell is burning all that away. And related to, we'll talk about the other movies, how it's, the hell is more of like a life embedded inside a life embedded inside of life. But Johnny Camilleri says it really well here. And I don't know. When I watched him as the chiropractor in Jacob's Ladder, half the time I saw Sal's Famous. How come there's no black people up on the wall? There's no black people up on the wall. That's from Do the Right Thing. That's not a racial thing. I'm just quoting the movie line. Very good movie, but very respected director. Can't say anything bad about him. And then the other time I kept seeing Johnny Camilleri, which is a key scene. I'll go over into the other movie in a second, guys, but a very key part of Moonstruck. And it relates to this attachment to a degree, but it's also very funny. When Rose, the old, the mother of Cher, she's trying to, why do men chase women? She's asking around, why do men chase women? It's pathetic. They get older, then they chase younger women. And Johnny Camilleri gives this big speech about, God took a rib from Adam, and man is not whole without the woman. And then she's basically like, come on, just get to the point. What's the real reason? He's like, I don't know, because they fear death. She's like, that's it. That's it. He's like, well, I don't know. He's like, no, that's it. Because they fear death. So it's like, yes, that's a related scene, a related theme. Fear death. You don't want to hold on to the world. Attachment. Chase women. Make contracts with this place. This scene is like, you got to let it all go, man, or you're going to create a hell for yourself. If you let it all go, resign yourself to it, then there's nothing for hell to grab onto on the day of your death. Hugely profound and absolutely accurate. You can feel it. What I'm saying, you can feel it to be true in every mitochondrial, midichlorian you have in your body. Search your feelings, Luke to Darth Vader. Search your feelings, Father. You can't do this. You can't. I can feel the conflict within you. Search your feelings, Luke. You know it to be true. I am your father. Search your feelings. You know this is true. We can feel it. You have to. You attach to this place. You create your own hell now and in the afterlife. Okay, going into the analysis of Jacob's Ladder. For anybody that's just listening and not watching, don't look. I've got a test for you. Little quiz. In the movie poster here, or one of the several movie posters, there's a theme coming across in the movie poster, like a symbol or symbolism. You have any idea? I'll give you 3 guesses, but you're only going to need 1. Yeah, you got it. Covered right eye symbolism. Boy, that's rare. I haven't seen this in years. Have you guys? Yeah, we've seen it like 100,000 times a day. Oh my. Now, most of the time, movie poster, it's of course planned. It is called in. But other times it's not. It's also a reality marker. Okay, let's do the big 2. Jacob's Ladder and then Waking Life. Jacob's Ladder, 1990, Tim Robbins. All right, now, guys, it's almost impossible for me to talk about this movie without encompassing or giving away the ending. So you should turn it off right here. This movie's not right for everybody, but it's incredibly respected by those that analyze movies. Okay, there's very few movie aficionados who are not going to give a very high praise to this movie. I think it's actually better. If you see it later, it's actually better, I think, to go through all of this now, because you'll be seeing what's happening to him. And I know that sounds like, oh, you're just saying that. No, it's actually better, because the regular first level movie watchers that don't look for deeper meanings as, say, we would, were completely confused by this movie. Some people got angry at the end, like, what the hell was that? What was that? I want my money back. They were completely confused. So I'm going to give it away, and I swear it's probably better knowing this if you are going to watch it. Of course, here's a movie poster, right eye symbolism. What else is new? I watched a review on Jacob's Ladder, and I think it's over here. I can flash over here. Jacob's Ladder, what it all meant. This guy does a good job. Most movie reviewers, they have no clue. They don't see the second or third layer like we would. But this guy, I'm sure that guy's not a, quote, truther, but he does a good job getting to the heart of the matter here in Jacob's Ladder. And of course, 3.3 thousand thumbs up. Of course, the 33 guys, it's a reality marker. All right, it's not their number. Oh, you can't use it. It's their number. What are you, a Mason? No, they understand what numbers have power. They understand occult numbers and what numbers have power. The drivers, the underlying drivers of metaphysical reality, or they know that, so they adopted the numbers. It's not the other way around. So the 33, I was thinking just recently, this morning, because when I saw that 3.3 thousand thumbs up on the Jacob's Ladder review of what I just showed you, it could be 8 is the infinity symbol. It could be the 8 split in half. It could be the duality of the infinity. Basically, what this realm is. They do the 2 into 1 religion, combine the 33, combine it back into the infinity. I know, that might mean something different to the minion type of incarnation, which could be a different incarnation than we are, a sequential incarnation. Tony says we're simultaneous, which is different, but that's what the 33 could be. It could relate to its infinity split in half, maybe. I don't know. Just came to me. I don't know. It's like that scene in Pulp Fiction. Just came to you while you were eating that muffin? You gonna leave the life? Yeah, I was sitting here eating my muffin, and I figured 33 is probably infinity cut in half. That's it. I don't know. Anyway, guys, let me finish here. I'm gonna have to give some stuff away. All right. And again, I wish I could use clips and do more. I can't. The beginning of the movie is this really strange scene with Tim Robbins in Vietnam. you don't know what's going to happen here. It's just, or as it's happening, everybody starts acting like strange demons, frothing at the mouth, eyes start rolling back, and this whole unit goes crazy. Their head starts almost spinning around. It's this just bizarre scene. And then Tim Robbins is stabbed. You see him like in a medical helicopter, right? Kind of wakes up in a regular life as a mailman in New York City. But there's something is wrong in his life. At this point early in the movie, you think he was in Vietnam, he got stabbed, the medevac copters, saved him, he recovered. So this is just his life in New York City as a mailman. He has a relationship with a girlfriend that's pretty good, but he lost his son. And okay, let me just do an hour and a half into 1 minute. It gets weirder. His life gets weirder and weirder. He gets sick. He sees weird things. He sees demons on the train. It just gets, he goes to a party with his girlfriend. He basically sees his girlfriend. There's a demon behind his girlfriend in the shadows making love to his girlfriend. It's just one. So if it's one surreal experience after another. If you look at movies from an artistic value, the way they're shot, the way things are presented, this gets, again, very, very high praise. To me, that's not important as the overall plot and message. People look at that famous scene in Seven where Brad Pitt, it's raining. They had just discovered his apartment, Kevin Spacey's apartment, and he's out in the rain, but Kevin Spacey's found him and I guess hit him down, and Brad Pitt's in the rain looking up. The camera is looking up into the rain per Brad. I mean, people go, that's just classic cinematic movie making. It has a lot of that here, the way scenes are shot, but that doesn't float everybody's boat. Anyway, there's all this stuff that what actually did happen to his unit. He tries to discover that. Then there's a conspiracy. Oh, nobody's going to talk. So guys, let me just wrap it up because there's nowhere I just have to bring things together here. And I think it's not going to hurt. Knowing this isn't going to hurt you if you see the movie. It all really relates back to the quote. The only thing that burns in hell is the part of you that won't let go of your life, your memories, your attachments. They burn them all away. They're not punishing you. So this quote, you have to go through this hell. You have to let things go. They're freeing your soul. If you're holding on, you see devils tearing your life away. But if you've made your peace, the devils are really angels. Well, it turns out, he's holding on to life. In some way, he was really killed in Vietnam. There's allusions to this throughout the movie. He's in this hellish scene in an insane asylum here. He screams out, "I'm not dead!" And they basically, the doctor says, "You're dead." Another person reading his palm at a party says, "This is a very strange palm. According to your palm, ha ha ha, you're dead." It's just kind of, you think it's just something funny somebody would say in a party. But he's dead, okay? I'm sorry I'm giving it away, but he's dead, and he has to go through all of this stuff to exorcise his demons. Some people would say this dream that he's put in at the moment of death, all of this, which seems like a lifetime, living a lifetime as a mailman, or months or years with this girlfriend named Jezebel, it's all potentially happening in seconds or in an instant. There's that scene, or that Star Trek, The Next Generation, where Picard lives an entire 70-year life as someone else on another planet in whatever they said, in 15 minutes he was unconscious on the Enterprise. He lived an entire another life. And that's what Tim Robbins is doing. But he's doing it to exercise guilt, demons, for a lot of different reasons. Guilt over the tragic death of his son, which is played by a very young Macaulay Culkin. And it all relates back to the quote that if you're not ready to let go, man, this will be hell. I mean, it all relates back to the quote. And I'll give away the final ending. At the end, there is Macaulay Culkin at the bottom of the steps representing the ladder. They call the drug they were given in Vietnam that made them extra aggressive, that supposedly caused what happened to that weird case with his unit, everybody acting so strange and acting like demons in the unit in Vietnam. The drug they gave them to make them more aggressive was called Jacob's Ladder or the Ladder. But then it's an excuse. He spends a portion of the movie saying the army did this to me. It's just he's projecting his guilt and the demons he has to personally face himself onto the army, the way we do that and project it onto the minions or those in Congress made our life hell, or those around the world in power that made us wear the face covering. They're making my life hell. This is projecting. One of the key themes in this movie at the highest level is if you keep projecting, you say, oh, these people, these politicians and world leaders in the one world system ruined our life in 2020 with the C thing. This movie's saying you projected like that. Oh, you're gonna have to go through a lot of this Jacob's hell to exercise that. You can't put it on someone else. It's all on you, man. You have all the tools you need here to exercise your demons or to make them more powerful. So the whoops, I'm going to go back there. I don't want to do that. Sorry. Here, if you probably can't see it, Macaulay Culkin was in an accident and he had died. A lot of guilt Tim Robbins had over it, but he sees the last scene in the movie. He sees Macaulay Culkin on the steps and kind of welcoming him home. And Macaulay Culkin is this little tiny kid. This is before Home Alone, and he acts like a very old soul. Tim Robbins is like the child. Macaulay Culkin comforts Tim Robbins and says it's okay. Like, okay, Macaulay Culkin's been dead. He has the wisdom of the ages. He's an old soul. And Tim Robbins is the child. And Macaulay Culkin leads him up the steps, which is the symbolizing of Jacob's Ladder. There's a light at the top. They go off. He's exorcised his demons. And, the movie ends with the scene in Vietnam where he was stabbed. Apparently, if you're in the chronological progression of the movie, he was stabbed right at the opening scene. Then it flashes, you're still in the same spot. The doctors in Vietnam saying he's died, and look how peaceful he looks, I think one of them says. But in that moment, to the pronouncing of dead, or he goes through this whole hellish life. We're here in this scene. I think there's a car that just comes around the scene with some like demonic driver that just tries to run him down, and he doesn't know what's going on. And then he talks to other people that were in his unit in Vietnam. It's like, are they trying to kill us? All conspiracy. Look what we do. They're trying to get us. They're trying to kill us. These demons we've created in this community around the minions is a theme. And then as you think more and more paranoid about it, the demons get power and they're given power and they screw with you more and more and more. So Tim Roth, more of these things happen, running for his life, a demonic creature on the train. And don't we create that for ourselves a lot of times in our community? So let's stop. By the way, and Jacob's Ladder, it's, I guess it's the book of Genesis. For anybody that doesn't know, Jacob's dream, basically God shows, he has God gives a vision to Jacob, but Jacob's dream, where there's a ladder that this is the connection between heaven and the earthly realm, and he can actually see and perceive angels going up and down the ladder. He's given a vision of heaven, how awesome it is what I forget what the quote says, how almost like the theme of some of the translations is how horribly awesome it is, or awesome, but in a scary sense. He's shown the kingdom of heaven. And, this is, again, this is Genesis, as above, so below is kind of important for a reason. I've said in the book, if there's one thing to study, and you could study reality based on branches of everything that comes out of this one thing, it would be the phrase as above, so below. There's a million different branches and things you can connect to it in terms of the lessons that teach. Everybody comes out and they think they have it all figured out. They know exactly what that meant. That just means the stars. No, it's much, much deeper than that. There's 100 layers of as above, so below. And it's just another, it stems right probably the origin of it is probably Genesis. But there's Macaulay Culkin leading him up into the light. The doctors then finally pronounce him dead. He has exorcised his demons. I don't think most of the people watching this, the popcorn crunchers, I don't think they would, they would get it. And it's hard to get if you don't think a certain way. People are like, well, what was all that for? What did he go through? All of these weird things. He was sick. He was attacked. All this stuff. But I think the way we would interpret it is this exercise of demons in that realm, whatever that realm of in his mind or spiritually, may have played out over a lifetime. For other people, it may need to play out over multiple lifetimes. In the real time here in this snow globe, it was just a fraction of a second. But that's not important. What's important is how long it took him for his own soul and spirit to play out and exercise the demons. In this movie, he was able to do it in a one lifetime, but it was a completely false lifetime. So you take away that his girlfriend, it was a creation of his mind. It wasn't really his girlfriend. He didn't really have a postal job. None of this was real. It was just an environment that was necessary for him to what seemed like a real life, exercise his demons and go through his hell. What are we doing right now? Living what we think is a completely real life and confronting a lot of demons and things that are screwing with our lives. So he's saying, oh, that's horrible what they're doing. And it's like, okay, that's a projection of myself. I need to accept it and transmute it and exercise it and get better and get to ultimately where I need to be. The demons, the demons are angels if you are willing to let them go and you're not trying to hold on and create attachment. And there is something, I don't think it's just, well, we'll talk about that some other time. Enough on this. Let me go over to Waking Life. Okay, and finally, let me do a Waking Life, then I will try to tie them all together, although, you can kind of see how they're being tied together now. Now, the first scene tied to the last scene, tied to the second to last scene, the pinball scene, and I will go through some of the dialogue of the pinball scene after the general review here. First scene tied to last scene and second to last scene, incredibly profound. If you believe that movies can embed truth drops, the truth of metaphysical reality, it's here, in my opinion. I mean, I watched it and I went, it was so bad, the middle part almost didn't make it to the end. But I went, that's it. I mean, that is one of the absolute most important things to getting out of here. Absolutely incredible. Now, the movie is horrible, in my opinion. It is annoying, obnoxious. Between the bookends here, and to me, it's done this way potentially on purpose. You have this kid here. Let me just click here. And again, you're listening. You're not missing anything here, guys. This kid is the most boring dweeb of. I mean, he doesn't say much the whole movie. He just wanders around and he talks to people, or people basically talk to him about existentialism and meaning of life and this and that. It's just a bunch of nonsense, bloviating people that think they're so smart. And some people are like, that sounds like you, Matt. Well, okay. Well, I'm doing the best I can here. I'm telling you, I'm not trying to deliver nonsense. This is nonsense. All right. You have Ethan Hawke and his girlfriend here having this conversation in bed about, it's just most people, I don't know, like 85% review. And I don't think most people would think it's so wonderful. I think the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes is faked in some kind. I mean, then he meets this guy on a train and he knows everything about life. And it's like, oh, come on. Some of the characters are just highly obnoxious, little truth drops and little things that he comes across. This guy who's like drives a cab, but it's a boat. And there's Alex Jones, I think, has a part. He's screaming about, there's little tiny truth drops, and all these. This could be the most. This Irish scientist or philosopher might be one of the most obnoxious characters ever presented in movie history. I almost had to mute the scene. It was so obnoxious, and of course the animation, they make his head go in and out, and all this weird stuff floating in the background. So the middle guys, there's some minor truth drops, first grade truth drops, like Alex Jones and some other people screaming about how the two-party system is really just two sides of the same coin. And yeah, that's first grade truth stuff. I guess that's good. Like if my dad were to see it, he might say, maybe are they saying Republican Democrat isn't a real face-off? Isn't a real presentation? If people like my dad take that away, then great. But we don't need the stuff in the middle. In fact, it's meant to distract. You're supposed to get this impression that all these people are delivering these incredible philosophies, and it's just a bunch of nonsense. Anyway, I think I made that pretty clear. But let's get to the last two scenes related to the first scene, where it's like, oh yeah, that's it, dude. That is it. Oh, before I do that, I also take a look at the tail of the tape on Wikipedia. A lot of movies that will drop truth or have a certain type of meaning will have the numerology will be a little bit fishy or suspect, if you know what I mean. And this follows suit. First of all, it's 2001, right there. We have initial release January 23rd, 2001, 1/23, 2001. But then the U.S. official release, or the main release, maybe that was the film festival, Sundance Film Festival, the main release, October 19th, 2001. Now, why would anybody release something on October 19th? Well, Matt, it was pushed back because of 7/11. Maybe, but you have 10/19. You have 1/19. You have the Back to the Future inverted 9/11, 2001. 10/19, 2001. 101 minutes. Really? 101 minutes. They're 2-1 religion. $3.2 million it made. And even that on a Wikipedia, they want to put numerological significance or into the numbers. There's no guarantee that number of how much money it made has to be real or anything. They can put whatever they can put a picture of Mary Poppins there. They don't. It doesn't have to be real. So maybe the 3.2 has something to do with it. I'm just saying, don't assume just because it's the money it made that has to be absolutely real. None of it has to be absolutely real in the way they make their presentations. Sorry guys, I just loaded the video. It was blocked worldwide. I had to remove clips, had to redo this and that. I can't, go to nahobocode.com, please. I can't take this much longer. Let me just walk you through some dialogue, guys. I can't play it, unfortunately. Then don't read too much into it. Just take the dialogue one piece at a time. We'll tie it together later. The first guy says, yeah, they're called false awakenings. This kid's like, every time I think I'm waking up, I prove to myself I'm still in a dream. And the other guy playing the pinball is like, oh, they're called false awakenings. He says, I used to have that all the time. This guy's like, well, I don't understand how to wake up. Every time I think I'm waking up, it's just into another dream. It's the same as the movie Existence. And he's like, I think I might be dead. That's the kid that's in every scene here. This part's a story the pinball player tells the kid about Philip K. Dick's experience, where he wrote a story where he met people that had the same names that were in his story, and his story somehow corresponded with the book of Acts in the Bible, and he had never read the book of Acts in the Bible. This part, the pinball player, the wise man telling the kid what he needs to know, bridges the Philip K. Dick story with the theory that time, is just a construct of something, of the demiurge, and it's to make us forget, to think we're somewhere else, to put us in a perpetual dream, to forget the essence of who we are. The whole reality is constructed that way. That's the cat, guys. You try recording with that. Yeah, I love you too. Now, see the shadow to our right? He's telling a story. I always had it in a dream once, and there was a psychiatrist, and I didn't believe he was a certain type of psychiatrist. And when I said I didn't believe, or thought I didn't believe, I started to float up. Now, this floating up becomes significant in the first scene, the last scene. He started to float away. And then he thought, no, I'm sorry for not believing in you, Mr. Psychiatrist, or whatever he says. I believe in you now. And then he started to come back down. This, remember that shadow that just floated up. That's very significant. Okay, this part is very deep. Goes on to say, no such thing as time. Everything is taking place in one instant, but at least from the perspective of the snow globe, that instant is eternal. But what is that? What is this instant? What is time as it's translated into this place? He says it's God, or time is God posing a question. The question is, do you have a lot of work to do? Are you going to continue to make attachments to this place? Are you ready to join the eternal? Are you ready to step in to the eternal. It's God posing a question. And he's saying most people in society are saying no, they're not ready. Through their every single action, by rooting to everything society offers. This is me filling in the blanks. People are saying, no, I'm not ready. So time, he's saying, or how people carry out or live through time in this snow globe is an answer, a negative answer to God's invitation. So we're saying the whole human story here in this plane of existence is a journey, a collective journey for all of us of moving, he says, from the no to the yes, moving God's invitation. Oh, no, everybody would say, oh, I'm ready to join the eternal, but through all of our actions, we're saying we're not ready for that. No, I don't want that. Oh, I like materialism. I like what's here. This is warm and comfy, this snow globe. And no one's accepting, or very, very few are accepting God's invitation. So the human journey, and they don't say if it's one lifetime, or he doesn't say, but it probably plays out over many, is a slow moving from the no for the invitation to the yes, to I accept. I don't need this place anymore. I resign. I give in to it. I want to join the eternal. This part is just weird. I don't know how to interpret this. I'll just basically tell you what was said. So the kid talking to the guru guy playing the pinball, he's like, I'm in these dreams, and then I think I'm about to wake up, and it just seems to be another dream. He's like, I'm getting concerned. I think I'm dead, or I want to wake up for real. I don't want to do this anymore. One dream becomes the next. He's like, what do you do? And the guy's like, playing the pinball. He's like, to wake up for real? He's like, I don't know. I don't really remember. I don't do that anymore. But people listening are like, well, what do the viewers like, what does that mean? He doesn't do that anymore. Like, aren't they in the same reality now? He's like, put his hands up. He's like, I don't know, man. I don't know how to do that anymore. He's like, what? So the kid, but then he goes on to say, but you're saying you really want to wake up. Then he said, well, then you should. If you really want to, you should. He's kind of saying it's up to you. And he's like, and then he alludes to the fact, he says, well, if you don't do it now, you won't be able to do it in the future. Like, you should do it because you won't be able to do it soon. And people listening are like, well, what does that mean? So he's like, if you want to wake up, it's just, it's within your power. Just do it. And he does. Okay, this end part is very symbolic. It's exactly the way the movie starts. The movie starts with him. You think it's him as a little kid. He starts to float up and he grabs a hold of the car door handle. He's in the same exact place, the same car, same house. He's, I guess, returning to it as an adult. Now here as an adult, he starts to float up. As a kid, he grabs onto the door handle and holds on. He does not want to go. Remember the kid, the guru guy playing pinball said float up. He had the chance to grab that, okay? He had a chance. He does not grab it. He does not want to hold on any longer. Now, I think the movie watchers at first level, as you watch it the first time, you almost believe he's trying to hold on and he just missed, so he floats up. There's your as above, so below hand gesture, the Morpheus as above, so below hand gesture from the construct. And see, he could have grabbed that handle as he did as a child, but see, that was his journey, listening to all these bloviators, one person after another throughout an hour and a half movie or whatever, just saying their stupid theories. So the main part in Waking Life, as it ties together with the other movies here, except Society, is the first scene in Waking Life. He's a child, again, starts to float up, grabs a hold of the car door handle, doesn't want to go, grabs a hold, okay? Does not want to leave this place. That's the symbolism. I don't think it has anything to do with his age. Okay, people are like, well, Matt, of course he doesn't want to leave. He's a child. I don't think it has anything to do with his age. I think it has to do with he's a new soul, or he has a lot to go through. And then when he's ready, at the end of the movie, he starts to float up. He has the chance to grab the same car door handle to hold on. Just doesn't. He lets it go. He doesn't even try. Looks like he tries. To the first level movie crunchers probably watching for the first time. It looks like he reached out and tried, but he doesn't. He just lets it go. He's ready. And why is he ready at the end? Well, his journey, at least the way, there's different. The journey in Jacob's Ladder was shown by exorcising demons, confronting all these problems and sickness and demons. And weird things in Jacob's Ladder. The journey of this kid in this movie is all, every 3 or 4 minutes he's talking to somebody else. Well, it's not always the kid. There's that scene with Ethan Hawke talking about all this deep stuff with his girlfriend in bed, and it's just endless bloviating and people giving their theories on existentialism. And it sounds, if you're if you like staring at your degrees on the wall, it sounds so intelligent. And I'm sure the readers of the Atlantic magazine love it. And then they'll go home and turn on My Dinner with Andre, and it's just so intelligent. And it's just, what it is? It's a bunch of bullshit. It's a bunch of bullshit. I think that's what the movie's saying. All of these people with their theories, they think they're so smart with their PhDs and their economists and Atlantic magazine subscriptions. He had to go through all the bullshit. This kid had to listen to all these people think they have it all figured out. That's what the whole middle part of the movie is. You want to rip your hair out listening to these idiots. They think they're so smart. And then that's a bullshit. The guy at the end playing pinball, he has a clue. I mean, he has it figured out. He said, "You want to wake up? Just walk out of here. It's up to you. Wake up." He's like, do it while you still can. You might not have a chance. You won't have the chance to do it at some point in the future, which is very interesting. He said that. And he finds himself back in the same situation and just says, I'm finding myself floating up. Floats up. Even the pinball player said in his dream or whatever, he didn't believe, I don't know why they use psychiatrist or something. He says, I didn't believe in this psychiatrist. And maybe it's just related to the mind or something. I don't know exactly what's being said there. It doesn't matter. And he started to float up. He didn't believe in the world. He was ready. He started to float up. And he's like, I don't want to float up. I want to root to this place again. He's like, I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe in you. And then he started to come down. So the floating up, see, to people that aren't ready, the floating up is not a good thing. They just try to grab the car door handle. They want to root. It's rooting to this world. It's making contract with this world. It's getting the praise people need from this world. And look what society told me, how successful I am, looking to society's metrics to determine how much of a success someone's been, and looking down at your coat and all the medals it's pinned on it, and a golfer got his green jacket, and a running back in the NFL got his 1,000-yard rushing award. Every single medal or award that this society pins on you is like a Jacob Marley chain that pulls you down. You're never going to float up. You don't have to grab the car door handle. You're never going to float up. Where literally some guy living in a cardboard box has had enough of life, who just every day is like, I want to walk out of this reality, move into my spiritual being. They're just constantly probably ready to float up. Most people don't even ever experience the floating up. They don't have to hold themselves down here. They hold themselves down here by making contract with it, by rooting with it, by the quotes on attachment that came from the movie Jacob's Ladder, where he says hell is burning away every attachment that you won't let go. So don't go through the hell in the afterlife. Get rid of it now. Maybe it is appropriate to return to the movie Society, because this just screams like the minions of this place, whether it be George Bush, Barack Obama, Lady Gaga, Hollywood actors, musicians of a certain sort. People put their face on magazine covers and in reality TV shows, and in society, they were rich. And again, the people around the kid, he didn't trust his parents turned out to be some alien race. His pastor turned out to be some alien race. The judge turned out to be everybody. The general manager at Bushwood and Spalding turned out to be an alien race. And then when they finally showed who they were, like tentacles started to come out and they started to suck your life energy. And it was like a reenactment of that hellish scene in Event Horizon. And most of the movie, the kid's going through the movie going, this just, even my parents, I don't trust them. There's something not right with the world. Same kind of sentiments that we have about the world. But these minions, we just looked at people going through a spiritual journey, or their spirit at least having to live out a certain hell to transmute certain things or exorcise certain demons or to get themselves in a place. And as long as but see, for the real human being, what we just looked at, the kid floating up, a real human being of spirit, it's his choice. He gets himself ready to float up or to get out or to walk out or to wake up, because he decides he's going to wake up. It's his choice. The message, even in Jacob's Ladder, it's ultimately up to him. Now, in Jacob's Ladder, he's being effed with way more than the kid, of course. The kid's just getting this ridiculous bloviation and ridiculous philosophies from these people that think they're so smart. But he's really being screwed with in Jacob's Ladder. But it still was ultimately up to him to say, I'm not gonna run from this demon that's coming around the corner. I'm just gonna face it, and I'm gonna see it as a reflection of myself. And see that, but society shows again the minions who have all the wealth here, have all the power here. The kid's parents, the judge. They have the Bushwood membership. They have the fancy cars. But what does that do for the? So what? So what? All they have is their little orgy parties and their ability to suck loosh, and that's what's shown in society. There's no plan to get out, to do anything, to raise themselves up, to get to a better place. It's just suck more loosh, have more parties. I mean, again, the society movie says, look how at the end they're just a pathetic bunch of sick vampiric demons that do all this grotesque stuff and their big orgy parties, and the guy bends over and it's an ass and a big head comes out of the ass. It's grotesque. And I was emailing back and forth with someone saying, why would if this is kind of do the minions really do this? No, in my opinion. Do I know? I've never been in any Eyes Wide Shut parties. I don't know. But the point was in the email back and forth, why would the minions or Hollywood want to show themselves in this light? And I don't know. It goes back to the same old first grade response of, they have to show you, and they do it in such a bizarre fashion that everybody knows it's not their true nature. When George Bush bends over and his ass shows in his dress, a big head doesn't come out of the end like they shows in society. I mean, so it's kind of like saying they go over the top where no one would believe it. Not that anybody believes they really are these creatures. I think they're in the same avatar that we are, but nobody would believe that there is this dark society, that people that run things from the shadows, and life is not what it seems, and banking is not what it seems, and the police cars at the back that says to serve and to protect. To serve and to protect who? The system itself. Everybody just assumes when they see it, it's the local community. It's to serve and to protect the system itself. Even the police officers riding around, they probably aren't even aware of what that means. That's not on as many, or it's on very few. Where in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, to serve and to protect was on everything. But they do it in such an outlandish and crazy way in these movies that, it's just a fun horror movie, and any conspiracy person that would try to find meaning in it, that's ridiculous. And that's why it's hidden in plain sight, like sleeping on King Kong's back. But ultimately it shows, so what if these minions are in their little fiefdoms now and they have power? It's, in terms of all that ever was and all that will be, it doesn't mean crap. Let them have their little cesspool. They can have it. We're not rooting to it. We're letting the car handle door go. We're floating up. We're not rooting to it. We're done. We're out of here. Guys, thanks for listening. For anybody that gave their information to nohobocode.com, I am working on what's the number one censored thing right now? What's going on now out our window? You can't really talk about it or say anything. So I'm working on an MP3, a presentation, a very serious presentation that if you'll get it, you'll be emailed it if you gave your information to nohobocode.com. It will be emailed out at the latest by, I don't know, probably by Tuesday of next week at the latest, maybe a day more. But it'll be for Aunt Ginny. It'll be for Uncle Joe. It will be, most of it you'll know. I think you'll enjoy listening to it. This is the absolute best presentation I can put together to get people thinking in a different way. It's the absolute best I can do. But conspiracy is kept at absolute minimum because it really is for it's Aunt Ginny. Here, click this link and listen to this presentation, please, or Uncle Joe, or anybody that you want to see this thing a little bit differently. Almost done writing it, and again, it's the best I can do, and I think you'll appreciate it. And whenever we get this the sign up service done, or the YouTube channel will always be here unless they remove me, of course, then that's not my doing. I'll always make videos on YouTube, but of course have to move away from YouTube because the writing is on the wall, and I've said that a million times. Everybody understands why we we can't be in a platform that doesn't gives us a list of banned words. It would be actually easier if they gave us a list of what we couldn't talk about. They just decide to just take something down. Every time I make a video now like this, it should load based on what I think they'll tolerate, but you work 6 hours on something like this. I have no idea if they'll let it load or they'll even hit me with some copy issue. Based on I've masked everything. So guys, it's just there's just no way we can put up with the platform anymore. So, but it has nothing to do with signing up. That will be in the future. Just anybody that gave their information to nohobocode.com will get the email, and there's no cost or anything. It'll be a link to an audio file that I hope you'll share, and the conspiracy and the things we talk about will be an absolute minimum, so it will be accepted, and it won't be snickered at by the people around us that just call us names, conspiracy theory, etc. I kept the conspiracy to an absolute minimum. There's so many bizarre things going on with, you have to stray into that area a little bit, but it's done in a very professional way. And I think even Aunt Ginny will pay attention to it. So guys, look for that email. I don't know, maybe by next Tuesday or so. It'll be coming. There's nothing you need to do if we already have your information. Thanks.